You ever have one of those mornings where you just want to sip your coffee in peace, watch the sunlight dance on the waves, and instead you get a show worthy of reality TV? Yeah, that was me. The day Linda Garrison, the self-declared general of the Sunset Cove HOA, came storming down my private beach, like she was leading a Normandy invasion, barking at my guests, to leave what she called community property. I remember her voice, sharp as sea glass, echoing off the sand. "This beach belongs to Sunset Cove. You people need to leave now, or I'm calling the police." My guests just stared mid-sip, stunned into silence. So I set down my mug, strolled over, calm as could be, because when you know the truth, you don't have to shout. Reached into my jacket for the documents I'd been waiting to use. I unfolded the deed and let her have a good long look. "Actually, Linda," I said, "this beach is mine. You want to check your facts before you get the cops involved." But I wasn't done. I handed her another set of papers, couldn't resist a grin. "By the way, I also own the land under your house, and the whole block you're standing on for that matter." You should have seen her face. She went from HOA dictator to a goldfish out of water mouth, open eyes, blinking, totally lost. Funny thing is, I never set out to start a war. After 30 years in commercial real estate, all I wanted was a quiet spot to retire, watch dolphins from the porch, maybe make friends with the locals. The beach house I bought wasn't just any old place. It came with half a mile of private beach deeded since 1892. The old owner, Walter Fredericks, kept it immaculate, barely touched the sand himself, and when he passed, his kids were just glad to sell to someone who actually cared. So I moved in, minded my business, put up a few subtle markers so folks knew where the public sand ended, and mine began, didn't block anything off, didn't chase anyone away. Life was perfect for 3 whole months. Then Linda decided I was the problem. It started with a letter on HOA letterhead, real official looking but pure nonsense. She claimed my private beach violated community standards, demanded I yank my property markers or face fines. I sent her my deed and the original survey thinking that would settle it. Spoiler, it didn't. Instead, she started whispering to neighbors that I was some greedy outsider trying to fence them out, like they didn't still have miles of public beach to stroll. Her campaign got uglier. Suddenly I was getting noise complaints every time friends stopped by, even though we never did more than talk and laugh. The cops showed up 3 times and then just stopped coming. Linda had the HOA put up floodlights, said it was for community safety, but those beams were aimed straight at my bedroom window. Subtle, right? The real kicker came home one weekend to find she'd put up a chain link fence right across my beach path, big sign, and all HOA property members only. I took it down, called the city, but she just doubled down, started holding HOA meetings just to talk about me, painted me as the villain, wrecking community values. She even hired a lawyer, spent other homeowners' money on a fishing expedition to try to break my deed. Thing is, after 30 years in the game, I knew property law better than most folks and had more connections than she could dream. So while she was busy turning the neighborhood against me, I did my homework. Dug through county records, talked to some old friends in real estate. Found out the original developer of Sunset Cove hit the skids in the 2008 crash, sold the land under several homes to investors, but kept the houses themselves. Meant most folks owned their homes, but were just leasing the land and didn't even know it since payments were tucked away in their mortgage bills. Turned out those land parcels were up for sale, whole batch, one price. I figured if you're going to get pushed, might as well push back with style. Quietly bought the land under 15 houses, including Linda's. Now, the day everything flipped, I was hosting a small barbecue. Linda strutted down with 2 of her bored cronies holding paperwork and a smartphone like she was about to go viral. "This is your final warning," she announced. "The HOA voted to reclaim the beach. Remove your signs, or we'll do it and bill you." My guests watched the whole thing, plates in hand. I just walked over, leather portfolio ready. "Linda, before you do something you'll regret, take a look," I said, handing her my deed. She didn't even read it. "Old papers don't matter. The HOA controls all common areas," she snapped. I smiled. Let her talk. Then I slid over the second stack, land leases for 15 homes. "Look at page 7, I said. She scanned at her address right there. The color drained from her cheeks. One of her board pals, David, pulled out his phone, started dialing. "This is serious," he muttered. Linda tried to bluff. "Even if this is real, you can't evict us. We have rights." "Of course," I said. "Your lease runs another 40 years. I'm not a monster, Linda. I just want peace. The phone rang. David put it on speaker, HOA lawyer on the line, sounding grave. It's legitimate. He owns the land beneath over a quarter of the HOA's homes. I strongly advise stopping all actions regarding the beach immediately. 3 days later, the community center was packed for an emergency HOA meeting. Word had spread fast. Linda looked like she'd aged 10 years overnight, eyes darting around for support that just wasn't there. I stood up. Neighbors, some of whom Linda had turned against me, stared back, waiting to see if I'd turn villain or hero. Look, I said I bought these land leases as an investment and for my own protection. I'm not here to jack up your rents or evict anybody who pays their bills. I'll sign a covenant right here that rates stay fair and no one gets kicked out for no reason. But that's only if the HOA finally admits this beach is private property and stops wasting your money on this nonsense. The tension was thick. You could almost taste it. Then someone piped up. How do we know you won't use this against us? I nodded. Fair question. As long as you respect my property, I'll respect your homes. You cross that line, though. I'll defend what's mine, just like any of you would. Vote went quick. Linda was out 47-3. My beach was officially private, special assessments canceled, HOA lawyer's tail tucked between his legs. Meeting broke up, people shuffled out, relieved and embarrassed all at once. Linda stayed behind, tears streaking her face. You ruined everything, she whispered. This was my community. I built it. I shook my head. No, Linda, you built a battleground. Communities are supposed to be about respect, not control. But the final twist, because every good story needs one, came a week later. Turns out I'd been in talks with the Coastal Conservation Trust to donate part of my beach for a nature preserve, let the kids study sea turtles, maybe even get the town's name in the news for something good. But after all that hassle, all that harassment, I pulled the offer. Put up a beautiful wrought iron fence, signs posted clear as day, private property. Respect it or lose it. A gift from your former HOA president. The story blew up newspapers, social media, everyone had an opinion. The Conservancy made it public that Linda's little war cost the town $1 million ecological donation. She became the face of HOA overreach, her photo plastered on every article about neighborhood drama. 3 months later, she sold her house and disappeared from Sunset Cove. The new HOA board sent me a formal apology, a fruit basket, and a promise to keep to their side of the fence. I let them keep the basket. And I'll tell you what, I left that fence standing not out of spite, but as a reminder. Good fences make good neighbors, sure. But sometimes they make great stories. So what do you think? Was I right to hold my ground? Or did I take it too far? Go ahead. Tell me where you stand on property power and neighbors who don't know when to quit. I'd love to hear it.